South Texas Amateur Tour Podcast, The Power Hour, with your hosts, Travis Silkowski, Michael Emanuelian, Casey Graham, Jason Bird, and Brad Gilbert.
Good evening, South Texas Amateur Golf Tour. MD here. Thank you all for joining us. We are back. It is the Tour Power Hour 2025 season preview show. Lots to talk about tonight, lots to discuss. We have the 2025 schedule ready. We have the first event just about ready to open for registration. And yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. It's a pretty good time right now. Before we do anything, we need to first make sure we get my cohorts out here because I don't want to be out here by myself. So, without further ado, and what feels like for the first time in forever, me saying this, welcome to the program. On the 27th of November at 7:33. Let's welcome Brad Gilbert.
What's up, MD?
What is up, buddy? Coming live from your home.
Yeah,
Maybe the second time ever.
Yeah, I finally get to do one at the home office. I'm kind of excited.
There you go. I love the Brad poster in the background.
Yeah, same with you. Yeah, I like it.
I like your action shot though. Like you got the swing and stuff like that. Like
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Danny Puckett was laughing. There were a couple of people laughing at me because I was standing right next to my poster while we were getting our team pictures done.
Yeah.
And I literally had a tea in my mouth and an earpiece, or had my headphone in. And one of his guys is like, "Are you doing that on purpose?" I'm like, "What?" And he's like, nudged to kind of like look behind. I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, no, that's just my look."
That's hilarious.
It's just the vibe.
My only issue, Danny Puckett, is you could have photoshopped out the gut, but other than that, pretty cool.
But well, Brad, we are back. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. I don't think I played enough golf last week. I played some golf.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, myself, Brad, Jason Bird, Travis Silkowski went to Vegas for a couple of days, played TPC Summerlin, played Wolf Creek, played Shadow Creek, which was all unbelievable, amazing golf. Shadow Creek is the new number one. And then we immediately come home and go to Bridge Ranch and go play. And in between that, you threw in a round at Cedar.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Cedar is probably the toughest of all of those courses that you just mentioned. Like Cedar's playing really tough right now.
I can imagine, especially, this time of year, that course being kind of refreshed the way it has. And the fact that no one's seen it in so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that I believe that is our third event of the season. I don't think I'm spoiling anything here. We're going to see Cedar 4 separate rounds of golf this 2025 season, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough. It's going to hold one of our it's going to hold one of the big events of the season. We've got at least one or two individual stroke play events there as well. Like we've got some big stuff out there, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But let's see if Mr. Travis is out there. I see his thing down in the bottom. Travis. Nope, Travis is not there.
Almost.
Almost.
Well, we went back to Cedar real quick. I was excited to have Cedar back in the rotation for our competitions, but especially after playing it, man, when those greens get a little bit quick, because I played it Friday, the Friday that it opened, the first day,
Mhm.
right? And so the greens were a little bit slower. I could obviously tell the change of all the slope in the greens, and I said that day, it's like when these greens get a little bit quicker, this is going to be a real challenge. And sure enough, man, it was a very good challenge of golf. But I had a lot of fun playing it. I can't wait for our event.
I mean,
So,
this will be the first year in 3 years maybe that we have every golf course on rotation this year.
oh yeah, good point.
We saw almost down in 22. 23 was Riverside.
Yeah,
24 was Cedar. So yeah, it'll have been over 3 years since we've had a full trail rotation, which is going to be really cool.
yeah, for sure.
I know they've been working hard at Willow to try and kind of get those greens back under control and get them
Yeah,
growing again. Um, you know, mission is mission.
yeah,
That every year it seems like for the last 3 or 4 years, um, Mission and Northern you don't really worry about as much.
yeah, exactly.
They do such a good job maintaining those. We'll get back to Riverside. Obviously, we've seen Riverside in some amazing conditions between opening, what they did, getting it ready for South Texas Match Play Challenge.
Yeah,
Um, Brack is hit and miss, but I think they've kind of got an idea of what they want to do this season with it, and
yeah,
hopefully they'll continue that. And yeah, adding Cedar to the mix is gonna be a lot of fun. And I think it's also nice too because I think Cedar, maybe more than any other golf course, has the ability to influence point standings more than any other golf course.
yeah, yeah. I agree.
Um, just from its uniqueness and its toughness as a golf course goes. And if you put a major there, and you have a 2-day major there, that can be difficult.
Yeah,
Um, so something that we're certainly keeping an eye out on. Um, let's go ahead. I'm going to pull something up here real quick. So first and foremost, let's talk about Monster Day.
mm,
So Monster Day 2025, right there.
well,
That is Monster Day 2025. We have a really, really cool event. Anyone who has not played in this event prior, or who doesn't know about it, Monster Day is a one-of-a-kind two-person team event. Absolutely just straight scramble. But what we do at Mission Del Lago for Monster Day is basically play it from the most extreme distances possible in some of the most diabolical pin locations possible. It is the only straight up scramble on tour. That's the only time we will play a scramble during the year. This is meant to be an event kind of kicking off the season, getting the season going, getting everyone kind of out there, getting to kind of see who some of the new players are, who some of the returning players are, and what they've got going. And it's a very, very fun event. Talking to us a little bit more about it would be Travis Salkowski, if he's available.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And there he is.
I'm sorry I missed pre-show warm-ups and all of the above. I love your banners behind you guys.
right.
That was my intention, was to have that behind me as well, but I clearly ran out of time this week. And I know I have no clue where we're at in the show. How's my audio, video, everything look good? Yes?
Yeah,
Everything's good.
everything's good.
So
Looks
we
and
are
sounds good.
What's
are
up,
talking
everybody?
so we were talking a little bit about a little bit of golf that we got to play, talking a little bit about the first time in over 3 years we're going to have every trail course on the schedule.
I know. What a cool storyline that is.
That's a lot of fun.
That's such a cool storyline. We just got back from playing golf in Las Vegas. You guys had kind of a pseudo ambassador day, kind of. Ambassador plus Steve Robert, I guess, is the way it turned out to be, because I withdrew at the last minute.
Mhm.
and at Briggs Ranch. So that was cool. And Brad played in the San Antonio Open this past weekend at Cedar, and Cedar's open and hard as shit and
Yes.
looks beautiful. And it's November 27th, and the 2025 schedule is officially out. It will be released in an email to everybody in the next couple minutes. Monster Day is officially open for registration online. That's why I was a little late to the show. I was working on that, like getting live stuff ready to go for the show without turning it on beforehand is exceptionally tricky to do.
For sure.
So I'm always going to be just a tad bit tardy when we do stuff like live releases and whatnot. But that is good to go. Monster Day is officially live on the STX amtour.golf website, and the 2025, I know that's so crazy to say already, the 2025 schedule is going on the website in real time as we speak right now.
It's exciting. I'm gonna have to update my calendar tonight. Put them all
Well,
on the calendar.
I am literally, now that I'm thinking about it, I am sending the email to Jason Bird to put me on the list.
Oh yeah.
for
We are-
special assistance, please email info@stxamtour.golf.
Brad, we are signed up.
Oh, nice. All right, here we
So
go.
are good to go there. Trav, do you want me to pull up the schedule?
The schedule is officially live on the website under the Division Schedules tab. From that location, you can get to the Monster Day sign-up page. You can also get to Monster Day from the homepage itself. There's a link. It's in red letters, so nobody can miss it. That will be available on Facebook in real time here, MD, momentarily. I'm sure MD can multitask on the fly.
That is certainly possible.
And that newsletter, the 2025 schedule release newsletter, hits your email inboxes in less than 60 seconds.
Oh
That-
my God.
That is as good as we can do real-time releases here at the STX AM Tour.
Dang. Pretty
Do
exciting.
you want to? I'm going to pull up the schedule. Let's talk about some of these events and
Let's
some
talk
of these.
about this schedule because there is big news. There is all the trail courses are open. The 2025 South Texas Amateur Golf Tour Alamo City Golf Trail Division release party, for lack of better words. I really like the schedule this year, and the big news, in addition to the schedule coming out, is the 2025 South Texas Amateur Golf Tour will be played exclusively on the Alamo City Golf Trail and within the ACGT division this coming year. No Greater Hill Country division in 2025. This is your only path to the South Texas Match Play Challenge on the road in Houston, November of 2025. So that march to the team starts now with Monster Day opening for registration. That email just went out. The mass newsletter email just went out to everybody. So check your email inboxes. That should be there. Working in real time is so cool, by the way. 9 events on the trail in the spring season, 8 events in the summer season. The same playoff format that we've had for the last decade. This is the 13th year of the tour as we know it, with the spring season and the summer season. It is the 15th year of something organized that morphed into the South Texas Amateur Golf Tour. So spring season kind of follows the same tried and true format, about 60% stroke play, 40% team play. However, there is a cool new team event in April this year. There is a 2-day 36-hole team event at Riverside. That format is going to be scramble alt shot. So that is going to be something completely new. We've never done that before. A full day of scramble at Riverside, a full day of alt shot at Riverside for a combined 36-hole score. We've never done that before. The other highlight of the spring season is the tour's return to Cedar Creek early, February 8th. I mean, it is there. It is going to be good. I want it to be maybe just a little misty, a little drizzly, maybe a north wind where those first 3 holes are into the wind. Yeah, I think Cedar is a beast.
Yeah.
And I what's the new course record? Clearly that was set last weekend. Do we know?
I mean,
Maybe
I know,
70.
I know there's a 69.
I think I saw a 69.
Yeah, there's a 69 on day 1. 72 is the lowest on day 2. So
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and the guy who won shot 72.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make sense.
Yep.
I mean, that is one of those courses now. Like, I think you could maybe have gotten away with Willow and almost not getting a practice round in prior to the first event back.
Yeah.
I don't think Cedar's that way.
In the photos from this past weekend, Cedar just looked phenomenal on camera. I mean, it just looked great.
And for us to be finishing the season, the regular season out at Cedar is super cool as well.
Yes. Moving forward into the summer season, Cedar Creek bookends the summer season. A team event to kick off the summer and a 36-hole stroke play, the Players Club Masters, where the plaid jacket started. The Players Club Open, the plaid jacket finally returns to Cedar Creek. It has been gone from Cedar for 3 years. It was at Olmos, then it turned into Olmos again, but then that moved to Brack. So it's finally going back to Cedar 3 years later.
Has it really only been 3 years?
I think so. Did it
feel
go
like
to
it's longer.
Did it go to Northern Hills 1 year in the middle?
Yeah, I think so. I was about to say it's had to have been a couple of PC Open. I'm gonna look it up on my email right now and go back.
This was my 4th year on tour, and I don't think I've ever played the PC Open at Cedar.
The PC Open.
I love y'all's banners behind you. That's so cool.
Right.
I love that. That's great.
I can tell you.
2025 schedule is online currently. It is open for registration. Spring event number 1, open for registration. Sign up available on the website. Will be on Facebook shortly. And South Texas Am Tour newsletter just hit everybody's email inbox with this graphic, this schedule graphic, and Monster Day opening for registration. Match Play returns to San Pedro. Super excited about that. I love that event.
Yeah. And so at Riverside, it's going to be modified alt shot, right?
Modified alt shot. That's correct. Yeah. Both tee off on every shot, on every hole. just like a regular season alt shot for sure.
Cool.
Yep. So spring season kicks off, open for registration currently today. Monster Day at Mission.
Bird, stop texting because he can't freaking
Yeah, exactly.
do two things at once.
Yeah.
I know what the delay is for Travis. I know why all of a sudden he goes silent, but
Yeah.
no one else does.
For sure. Yes, of course.
Sounds like Sean Vidal's excited for a Riverside event too.
I'm super excited about that. I love new events. That's the new one that's on the schedule. The match play will be just a little different format at San Pedro. Same format, just a little different logistics. Starting a little later in the day on Saturday, going later into the night on Saturday, taking the whole course up Sunday instead of Saturday.
Okay.
2 times at Mission Del Lago in the spring season. Mission is in fantastic shape. I was on the phone with Clint yesterday, actually talking about Monster Day. Monster Day is going to include lunch. Ray Garza and the Rockin' G Grill. Their sexy big burgers. We're going to do a big bad burger buffet in conjunction with Monster Day this year. So that's something new and fun. And, you know, it's difficult to plan for a golf tournament that's 120 people, right? And food and beverage logistics are some of the more complicated ones. So we figured this year, let's include it. Let's make Monster Day something big that kick off something special.
And by the way, PC Open last played at Cedar was in 2020.
2020, 4 years away.
Yeah.
It will have been 5.
Yeah, 21, 22, 23, and 24, 4 years away, returning.
Yeah.
This year.
Which is awesome.
Love the schedule. Special shout out to the STX Executive Committee, Jason Bird, Mike Dermanuelian, Sabrina, myself. Badass job working with the trail, getting the schedule done and graphics produced and websites updated. And, you know, we use the word off season, right? But the word off season typically means more work for everybody that's on camera right now, right?
And the off season really is realistically it's a 2-week. It's a 2-week off season,
right? Yeah, you're exactly right. And we took the one weekend that we truly had off that wasn't a holiday, right? Tough to count Thanksgiving as a work week, you know, right?
Yeah,
but we took that weekend and went to Las Vegas and had the best golf experience of my adult life.
Yes, without question.
So that was phenomenal. I dramatically switching subjects here. If you ever get the chance, or save your nickels and dimes and just do it, Shadow Creek's worth it. Shadow Creek is worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
I was telling someone today it's probably as close to Augusta that we could play, like condition wise.
I agree, and I want you I truly believe that experience where there was nobody else. It was just us. It was just us. There was nobody else in the clubhouse. There was one table set for lunch, the table that we were sitting at. There were 4 pyramids set on the driving range for just us. You know, I mean, that's so cool. So that experience where there was no other guests at all on property except us, I think really enhanced the exclusivity of the experience. Totally. Sure.
There is something to be said about that. It is it doesn't happen very often in golf. I think maybe Beau Rivage is the only other place I can think of, and that's kind of the beauty of like going to play a golf course that you have to be staying at the resort
Yeah.
and you have to be
That
kind of
you're exactly right. We went down to Fallen Oak 2 winters ago, and the weather maybe wasn't the best, and it was just MD and me playing for my birthday, and there was nobody else there.
Mm.
It was just dead quiet, and it was one of those moments where there was no wind, and you could hear a mouse fart on the driving range that morning. It was so quiet. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
but yeah, no, I mean,
But yes, if you ever get the chance to do it, Shadow Creek is it's in a league of its own.
yeah, I mean, and we'll talk more. It's a good segue into next week's show, which is
It really is
not
a
next
cool
week's.
segue. 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, we'll be back on the 11th. We are going to do a kind of a 2024 roundup and travel roundup. If you know Travis, if you know me, Brad, Bird, the core group. We play a lot and we travel a shit ton for golf, and so we have all either together or separately at one point or another in 2024 touched on or played on some of the best golf courses in the country.
I can't wait for this show. What a cool special edition. Teaser is in the newsletter that just came out. Check your email inbox. That is it. Yes, you're exactly correct. As Jason pointed out, that graphic will be updated to the battle to the South Texas Match Play Challenge 2025.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to write a quip there about Matchup Mayhem 2.0, and I just got it out. I beat the deadline. There's a typo. But yes, that's why I got distracted earlier in the show. That was that text message. Next week, no show next week. Well-deserved off week. MD, Brad, Casey, Jason Bird, Sabrina, myself, the rest of the STX AM Tour Executive Committee and Power Hour podcast is going to take an extended week off this weekend through next Wednesday, and we'll start planning December shows the following week after that. But we'll return to the air on December 11th, as MD was saying, and kind of recap our playing in 2024, not on tour, right? Yeah. Where did we play across the country? And it would be really interesting once we throw Jason in this mix. Jason travels for work more than all of us combined. And when we throw him in this mix, I'd like to see how many states the 4 of us touched playing golf this year. And I know Casey traveled a little bit, so we'll get Casey in from the comments. And I'd love to see how many states the Power Hour podcast hosts played golf in 2024. What a cool show. What a cool show that's going to be on December 11th.
Yeah, and we'll have I think what we'll have everybody do is shoot me their top 10 list. I'll turn it into a graphic. We'll see if anybody has the same courses, though I feel like Shadow's going to sit number 1 no matter what. But we'll see who else or we'll see where everyone else is at. See if anyone else's top 10s have any matches or at least same courses. And we'll talk about, the great stuff going on, outside of the tour in that travel sense.
I mean, for those of you that have watched the show and played on tour, I'm from Wisconsin. I'm from Kohler. My mother worked at the Kohler Company for 40 years. I grew up. I learned to play golf in Kohler. Black Wolf Run, the river course, has been my favorite course. I mean, listen, Black Wolf Run, the river course, is the reason I said, hey, let's go take tour travels the first year during COVID. Let's go to my favorite course. Like, that's where it started from, right? And for the first time in my adult life, when MD said he wanted to do this show, I coming off of last weekend when we played TPC Summerlin, Wolf Creek, and Shadow Creek in Las Vegas this past weekend, for the first time in my adult life, I wrote down something else at number 1 other than the river course.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean, how I've never had that experience. I talked to MD that day, and I'm like, I'm not certain I know how to act. And I was on the phone with Micah, Micah Carroll, partner with Cairo Services, and he instantly took the role of therapist. He's like, are there any other childhood demons you'd like to talk about now, right? Like, what other childhood damage do you have, right? So I've written that down as my number 1 for 30 years.
That's crazy.
And if I could tell you what Shadow Creek was like, I would take everything that I love about the river course, the badass customer service, the fact that it is in mint condition, and the golf course and the putting surfaces are like pool tables, right?
It's unbelievable.
And the customer service never ends, and the food and beverage is amazing, and the practice area is cool. I could take everything about how cool the river course is, and then I could say, remove everybody else from the equation. There's nobody else there. There's just you. And that's
I who was I talking to about this? Maybe I was talking to Bird about it. This weekend at Briggs. I'm like, even the minute little things, the 18-inch platform on the back of the golf carts for the caddy to stand on.
Okay.
In 30 years of golf, I've never seen it.
I never had either. I was on the phone with Micah that day telling him about Shadow Creek, and this is what I said. I took my bag off the golf cart, and the caddy carried it to the driving range, which was 10 steps. 10 steps. 10 steps from the golf cart to where our pyramids were staged on the driving range for us, right? I hit 5 wedge shots on mint turf grass, fresh turf grass, and I walked to the golf cart to get a Band-Aid. And by the time I put the Band-Aid on, a dude had zipped up in a gator, filled the divots in my row, and cruised away. By the time I got back, my divots were filled on the range.
That's crazy.
What? Who does that?
And then the rain. Yeah, I mean, that was it. I mean,
it was awesome.
And in my top 5 for locker rooms, I think too.
Yeah, that was nice. It was funny because I was driving the cart that day, and I kept thinking 90-degree rule. I was asking the caddy, "Can I drive here? Can I drive?" He's like, "You can drive wherever you want to." And then I was like, "Oh, they don't have 1,000 carts driving all over the place. They
Yeah,
have like
there was 4
carts a day. Yeah, 4 carts a day. Big difference."
I mean, I always used to say, like, you know, if I ever won the stupid lottery, like I was going to buy a house in Kohler, and I was going to play the straights course every day for the rest of my life. I might, if I ever won stupid money, I don't want to move to Vegas, but I might buy one of the 2 houses.
Yeah.
One of the 2 residences in the gated. I mean, how is you would never, if you play this golf course, and we'll show pictures next week. And I told you, if you look that way, you should see like all of downtown.
Right.
You should see
right. You never know.
Yeah.
You would never know.
You're in the middle of the city. It's
It's
crazy.
a friggin' oasis in the middle of the
crazy.
desert.
One time I heard sirens from an emergency vehicle. So you knew we were close to the road, but there was a half a dozen times, and this is such a cool segue into the show in 2 weeks, which is going to be a phenomenal show. There were 6 times that I looked down to make sure the grass was real and not fake.
Yeah.
Like walking across the footbridge across the creek. I tried to walk most of it. I didn't make it even halfway. Some of the tee to the fairways aren't conducive for walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I tried to walk up as much as I could. I hit like the first 7 greens in a row, so I was doing a lot of walking up. I played good on the front end, and then I'm gonna say I got tired down the stretch.
Yeah, it was.
But-
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was just a long week.
it-
for sure.
It was a long week. It was a lot leading up
We were
to
up.
getting there, and
I mean,
we played a long way. We played
Yeah.
a lot. We played TPC
That was-
Summerlin from right foot rough twice. We played Wolf Creek from close to 7,500 yards, and we played Shadow Creek from 7,700 yards, which I felt was manageable.
it was that was the best.
I'm sorry, it was like 76 and some change, but it was tipped out. Every
I mean,
set
it was
boxes
everything.
was back there, and I bet you we had 15 flag sticks that were Stuff City.
Yeah,
Oh my god! I
so
mean,
ridiculous.
Stuff City and like the way that they cut the greens and that extra step down.
Yeah,
Like you're looking at a green that you're like, oh, that's a big friggin' green. And
Yeah.
as you get closer, and it's not until you're like 20 yards out that you can see like, oh, that's not part of the green. That is literally just the fringe that is cut so seamlessly in, and it's all
Yeah.
just. I mean, that was the best. That was maybe the longest course I've played from. Like playing tipped out
It was
wise.
long. No, you played Beau Rivage.
But-
well, listen, if we factor the
Elevations.
in,
Mhm.
I think Beau Rivage at 7,500 yards at sea level is the longest course I've ever played.
Mhm.
I think that feels the longest, in my opinion. I didn't think that Shadow Creek felt
Shadow-
really long.
Shadow didn't like. I think you and I both shot 80 trap. Like I think we easily. I think one, now that we've seen the golf course, that's one thing. But two, I think the biggest difference between Shadow and Beau Rivage from that like scoring ability is the fact that get fucked if you don't hit the fairway or if you don't hit the green and reg. You can get away with it at Beau Rivage, I think, a little bit better.
Yeah.
Shadow's the greens are so fast.
I
Good luck
shot
holding
80
a chip.
I shot 80 with a triple and a double.
Yeah.
And-
I shot
and-
80 with
and
3 doubles.
I say that it didn't feel long. That's not necessarily accurate. I hit 6 shots that were memorable shots to me. I hit 4 7-woods that were ridiculous, and I hit a 4-iron and I hit a 5-iron on par 4s that were great. So I had 2 7-woods on par 5s to the green and 2. I had 2 7-woods on par 4s, and I had a 4-iron on a par 4 and a 5-iron on a par 4. And then there was one par 4 that I screwed up on that I couldn't get to. But and of those 6 shots, I flushed all 6 of them.
Yeah.
6 for 6.
I mean,
6
your
for
ball
6.
striking.
So
Your ball
I
striking
hit the
was
long
nuts.
iron well, so it's a little bit not accurate when I say that 7,600.
as
nah.
as someone who is me, if you know me and you know my
Yeah.
game,
You're
it
exactly
felt-
right.
What?
I was gonna say you're exactly right. You were gonna keep talking about how much shorter you are than everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
I would agree with you.
I would-
if you're not a short, if you're not a long hitter,
What?
if you're
What
not
you gonna say? Say it. Say it. No.
if you're not a long hitter, that course certainly felt longer. I mean, having consistently like 7 wood 5-iron on some of those par 4s was brutal, but at the same time, it's like
there was
that's why you
one hole
practice for
that I
this.
was worried about, but you took an aggressive line, hit a great shot, and it wasn't an issue. But there was only one, and I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, the way Brad Gilbert prepped for Shadow Creek with the PowerPoint on the
Yeah.
driver width, the landing area width in your PowerPoint preparation was perfect. Because it
Yes,
looked
55
narrow
yards.
in all the videos. It looked narrow,
Yeah,
but it was
did.
not.
It
It was
wasn't.
not
I-
at all.
No.
I can't say enough about how freaking long Brad Gilbert is.
It,
It,
I don't know about that.
it just you have the perfect mix of ball flight and the rollout was perfect.
Yeah, especially those last couple of holes. I feel like if I could hit the driver on those last, like I did on those last 4 holes all season, I mean, I'm gonna
You're
be
you're, you're
unstoppable.
playing driver 56 degree.
Yeah, that was fun. I can't. I'm still 20 behind Travis, but it was.
Listen, you can. I was thinking that the whole way, and then you made a comment about your last 4 holes, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And the first 20 holes, I didn't hit it good. I don't get a chance to practice and play like everybody else
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
It doesn't happen a lot. So after a couple practice sessions, I started stroking it, and from
Yeah.
about the back 9 on Sunday till about hole 12 on Tuesday, I was on it. I felt
Yeah,
good.
sure.
Ball striking was crisp.
Here.
For about 30 holes, I was legit. And then I
Yeah.
tried to walk at Shadow Creek.
Yeah,
And about the 12th hole at Shadow Creek, my swing started getting short, it started getting quick, and it started getting spinny.
yeah,
And but I was stroking it, and I'm not gonna lie, MD's trying to wrap up the show here, and I'm talking.
I can talk
I
Shadow.
love it. Yeah,
I'll talk
And,
about.
there were a couple cool times at Bird's Place at TPC Summerlin where Bird was striping it,
yeah, it was.
and I was 12 or 15 in front of Bird, like not hitting it great. It was cool.
That's
It
awesome.
certainly felt good to be on, and I putted good. Stracco
Yeah.
That
for
was
the win.
some of the best putting I've seen out of you ever.
So coming together. The big news today is that the 2025 schedule is out, and the STX Am Tour will be played exclusively on the Alamo City Golf Trail in 2025.
Back to the roots.
And the Greater Hill Country division is going to be noticeably absent from the 2025 schedule book, and maybe there'll be just a handful more opportunities for me to practice and play with you guys on the off weekends.
Yeah, I was about to say, what are you going to do with all those extra weekends? Like,
Yes.
my family might start recognizing me again.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, it was a lot. 2024 was a big year for the tour. We did more rounds than ever, and we're hoping to do more rounds than we did last year. And we're hoping to sell out all 24 events on the trail division this year, and really focus on the core brand and you guys, and expand tour travels, which is what we're talking about right now. And how cool would a winter tour travels event be to Las Vegas?
Yep, I'd do that. I mean, and even though we're not doing the Greater Hill Country, we're still keeping the 20 spots on the team.
Heck yeah. That is important to note.
And that is just more opportunity to make the team.
That is important to note, and that is a bullet point that will come up on the show in a couple weeks when we really talk about, spring season launching show. We will talk about the allocation of the 2025 team and what those 2 Hill Country spots are going to now. So that'll be a subject for the spring preview show towards Christmas-ish, maybe that New Year's Eve special.
Yeah, I think, Oh, go ahead, Brett.
Well, I was just gonna say about the Greater Hill Country stuff. Like I love the tour so much. My only complaint over the last 3 or 4 years that I've been playing in it is that it's not every week, right? And then last year with the Greater Hill Country, it was literally almost every weekend, and it was really one of those careful what you wish for type of things because it was so much golf, and I thought that's what I wanted. But it, like you said, it's going to be good to have.
But
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I will say this though. I think for the people who really got into it, for the people who played on both tours, the people who practiced, many of the people who made the golf team, who made South Texas this year, I think every year I kind of sit back, and kind of evaluate how that year went, how that season went. And I sit back and think like I couldn't have, if you asked me, 2023 season was my best season I've ever had. Like, it couldn't have gotten better than that. My game was as good as I think it could be. Going into this season and knowing, okay, we're playing more tournaments, the competition's harder, and the scores are going to be tighter. I live in champ flight now, so I have zero chance to like make mistakes. Like, I became a better golfer this year because of the tour, because of the schedule, because of the players on it. So I'm stoked for next year because, I mean, I feel like, okay, this is where I'm at finishing off the season. My swing feels what it does. I'm like, give me a month and a half of just practice, and give me a couple of months getting into 2025 and see where my swing's at. I'm excited. So
For sure.
Well,
And as your partner, I'm excited as well.
yeah, and as you bombing the shit out of the ball, I'm excited.
You're exactly right. Talking about 2024 golf every week, tournaments across the region. It was an awesome experience to bring that much amateur competition across San Antonio, across the Hill Country. And 2025, going to be a little bit more tighter knit. Exclusively on the Alamo City Golf Trail. Course conditions on the Alamo City Golf Trail down the home stretch in 2024 were phenomenal. Riverside, awesome. Brackenridge
Can't give the
Park
trail
was
enough
great.
credit
Cedar
for that.
Creek
Yeah,
is solid. Northern Hills was phenomenal in the playoffs. Mission del Lago is the best it's ever been. When is that going to get old from saying? Like, when do we stop saying that about Mission, and now Mission is just expected to be good? Like, what is that now?
we literally, that's one of the first comments we made when the show got started. I'm like, well, we know Mission and we know Northern just are automatics.
Yes.
I'm like, how great is it now that Cedar's renovated, Riverside looks crisp? I'm like,
Brack is good.
Willow. Brack is good. They've done some stuff at Willow trying to get it.
Clint at Mission. I mean, Paul Hernandez at Riverside. Mick Garza on special projects going all around. Nick Imondo now at Olmos Basin in San Pedro. Yep. I'll tell you what, we had a couple team practice sessions on the back tee deck at San Pedro. That's the best turf grass in San Antonio.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Briggs Ranch now, I can officially say.
That is the best public access turf grass in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Technically, anything is public access as long as you don't get caught.
Well, we are not endorsing that. That comment, please see the disclaimer.
There is a disclaimer.
The STX Am Tour in any way whatsoever.
So, to Jeff,
not affiliated at all.
To Jeff Worm's point about Cedar playing Havoc last week, and I mentioned this at the top of the show, Travis. I was telling MD that of all the golf courses that I played this week, Cedar Creek was probably the toughest, the biggest golf challenge of all of them.
And Brad's had a pretty shitty week of golf.
Yeah,
he had to play some real dirt tracks in the last 7 days.
But I really enjoyed. I mean, I can't say enough. I really enjoyed playing, and I used to not like Cedar as much just because of how hard it was. But I really enjoyed playing it. I love what they did to it.
Cedar's a logistical nightmare. I have managed Cedar Creek. I was the head golf professional in Cedar Creek for the Alamo City Golf Trail 13, 14 years ago. Oh my God, that sounds terrible when you say it like that, right? Cedar Creek's logistically tough. I personally like number one down at the bottom of the hill. I think the golf course flows a little better like that.
I can get something to drink.
Cedar Creek was originally designed with number one up on top of the hill the way it is right now. My thing at Cedar Creek is how can you get people up and down from the driving range now that that's the 18th hole? That's where I want you to hang out, right? If that little putting green, that little chipping green down there was cart parking area and you could park 30, 40 golf carts down there, and you could have a little halfway house down there.
Yeah.
People don't see or notice that driving range tee line is like 10 paces from
It's
the
right.
back flagstick on number 18. It is right there. So that rock face would be just the coolest amphitheater for a 18th hole F&B setting, I think.
I mean, even San Pedro has a halfway house on the course.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Javi Garcia and the halfway house at hole number 5 on San Pedro. Yes, San Pedro par 3 course is a real golf course. If you get a hole in one there, it counts. End of discussion.
It always counts.
Hell yeah, it counts in mini golf. It doesn't matter. But yes, course conditions on the trail this year are going to be paramount. 100% of South Texas Am Tour events will be played at trail conditions, kicking off with Monster Day, January 5th. That is the day after my 43rd birthday. I look forward to seeing you all at Monster Day 2025. MD, I know you've been trying to stop the show for 12 minutes now. I am so sorry. I will stop talking. And you get a week off, but expect a long show. As Jay Bird would say, expect a 2-hour banger on December 11th.
Which I think is very doable.
Our 2024 travel year.
Like, you hear us talk about the tour and all the shit we talk. Now let us talk about all the golf courses we go play and everything associated with those trips. And oh my God, we could talk about that. I mean, that's its own podcast. We should have a travel podcast.
Well,
can we just quit our jobs and do this full time?
I would like to point out, no, don't. I do not recommend that at all. Nobody do that. If anybody's thinking about starting their own golf tournament series or anything like that, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's the same thing I would tell everybody about, maybe getting married or having kids. Stop.
Exactly.
Right? No, I'm just kidding. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Yes. No show next week. Enjoy the night. Free of golf. That's positive for some people, negative for some. Jeff Warren doesn't know what to do when we take the week off. But, I will make one last comment about our trip to Las Vegas. As always, in the group chat before we left, oh, look at this. So
right.
I was like, it's 50-50 Cindy's watching the show. I know Sabrina's watching you.
Thanks for watching, Sabrina.
Thank you.
She clearly missed where I gave her a shout out a little earlier in the show.
Right after that. Right after that.
I did say just kidding. But last comment about our trip this past weekend to Las Vegas. In the group chat beforehand, we all agreed that we were going to do a way better job taking pictures and videos and interviews. And I was on the plane on the way home. 3 photos. I took 3 in 4 days. I took 3.
I mean,
3 and two of the three, Brad was driving the cart and went, "Yo, you want a picture here?"
I will say, I mean, for good or bad, I think, how often in your life do you do something where you don't have your phone on you and like you're glued to it? And I mean, I can sit in the living room and watch TV and I'll get 20 pictures on my phone because Emma took it or because I saw her do something cute and I wanted to like record it. Like, we're playing golf courses and we're just living in the moment.
You're exactly right. And I'm so glad you said that, because that is exactly what I wanted to say. There's been a couple experiences like that. 4 or 5 years ago, I was playing with Casey and Bird and Dustin Hassan at Streamsong Black. And the round that I had with you at Mammoth Dunes 3 or 4 years ago, and the round at Shadow Creek this past weekend was like it, where you're just so in it.
I would also say Whistling Ryder Cup tees.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Whistling Ryder Cup tees for sure. Same thing. Where
the afternoon round.
Everybody
round.
in the group is at 100% give a shit.
Yep.
But it's not the I give a shit because I need to beat you.
Yeah.
It's I give a shit because the experience is so immerseful and you're just so in it that you just forget and you're like, oh, what time is it? Oh man, we played the first 7 holes in 3 hours. We need to do something about that. You know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So it was really cool experience, and tune in to the show on December 11th.
Plenty to talk about.
No show next week. Hopefully we'll get an appearance from Jason Bird, and we'll get an appearance from Casey Graham, at least in the comments, where we can talk about our personal top 10s and where we played across the country in 2024. I can't wait.
Maybe I'll put it all, you know what? I could probably put it all up on a map too. We could see where we played throughout the country. Ooh, I got a fun idea now.
And we can share the list. We use the Golf Digest places you can
Important
play.
that it's Golf Digest.
Golf Digest places you can play top 100, right? I am Billy Bob Joe, public municipal PGA golf professional, right? Public golf, public access is key to me. So you won't find TPC Summerlin on my top 30 list because it's not public access. You need the Jason Bird access TPC member to be able to be there, right? But Shadow Creek is extremely high-end daily fee, right? It also has members, just like Beau Rivage, right? Extremely high-end daily fee. Have to be staying in that hotel. Have to get picked up and limoed in to play. But that's on the list because it's public accessible. So the Golf Digest Top 100 list will share our golf experiences. Yes, absolutely. Tommy Furcano is watching the podcast tonight. PGA member, Ferris State grad in my graduating class. Golf pro here with the trail 10, 12 years ago. What's up, bud? Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you're doing great. That's a blast from the past there. Played Whistling Straits a couple times with Tommy Furcano back in the day. Spent a lot of time in college with that dude. Lots of fun.
Oh man. All right. Well, the 25-minute banger I planned turned into a 60-minute banger.
Woo! The Power Hour podcast, everybody. That's one of the rare times we kept it to an hour. Shoot for 30 minutes. We'll do an hour. We have got to work on our pace of play.
Yes, we do. All right, everybody. First and foremost, stay warm. Cold front coming in. Everyone stay warm out there. Beep. Second of all, wishing everybody out there a happy Thanksgiving.
Sure.
Have fun with your friends, family, loved ones. Have a good time. Hopefully, get to play a little golf. If not, we will hopefully let you live vicariously through us with golf. And yeah, it's awesome. We have a cool show coming up on the 11th. Registration for Monster Day 2025 officially open with the updated schedule. The link is also on Facebook now, so click on that link. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for talking with us tonight. Super excited for what's coming up over the next few weeks with the show and as we move into the new year. Guys, happy Thanksgiving and have a good night.
Woo, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in 2
Night, everyone.
weeks. December
Happy Thanksgiving.
11th, next on the air.